First of all, it's casting. Now, Frankie was already on board as Cody Banks, so we had to build the perfect ensemble of cast around him, and we were literally piecing the family together, see if that father fit with this and that, and mother and kid, and people also have to look a little bit like each other. Then you lay out all the pictures on a table and you see if they all sort of fit inside the same universe. And then the fun starts. We get to start putting things on film. And in this instance, you can see that we're testing sunglasses on Frankie. A lot of things look good in real life, but when they come on film, it looks kind of different. So you want to make sure that it looks really good also on film. That's why you try to test everything you can.
Banks. Cody Banks.
This part of the process is also very useful for the actors.
What'd I do? Who are you? What did I do?
Because they get to start trying out delivery of lines. They always use the opportunity to try out a few things and a joke here and there.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleece as white as snow.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
This is what happens when you design a code book at summer camp.
And then all the department heads get together and share my breakdown of the script, because everybody might have a different idea about all the little things that are in the script.
So nobody really likes production meetings. Usually they go on way too long. You have to go meticulously through every little thing in the script for every department head. But what you find is, like on the last day of filming, stuff comes up that you talked about 3 months earlier.
Way down, or is it one time there was a talk about it doing a...
Yeah, it does that right before it hits the train track.
The train track, so it doesn't flips around the other way.
Yeah. Now, after all these meetings and everybody are sort of up to speed on what they have to do, we finally go out and start exploring the locations to shoot the film. And this is where the script really starts to come alive for everyone.
Usually you have sort of a teaser bad guy location.
Location, place where you film.
And then at the end of the film, you get to the really big, spectacular lair. And we were trying to figure out, where it needed to be. Should it be snow? Should it be in the mountains? Should it be water? We went on a helicopter scout, and as we were flying about, all of us at the same time saw this incredible outcropping of this volcanic rock that's called Tabletop. And the virtue of this particular rock outcropping that we saw on this scout was it was boxy. And we thought we could totally buy that a bad guy might have hollowed out somehow, unbeknownst to the park rangers, a huge sort of facility in this kind of space.
There.
And instantly it was like, that's it. That has to be where we have to go.
This is almost too realistic for me, if you see what I mean.
Oh, okay.
No, it's nice. That would be great, but I would love... Finding the production designer was really critical because I wanted this movie to look and have the feel of the old science fiction movies and the old agent movies and all that. Rusty Smith is totally into pop culture and fun design. He's a great fan of old designers like Ken Adam. He also knows how to do things for the right price. And having come off of Austin Powers, I thought he was a fun choice.
I know that. I've been looking for that again. I love that. Where is that?
About 2 years ago, I saw a picture of the Solo Trek in Popular Mechanics.
I just want to take it on a ride.
Yeah. It's not done yet. They're working on it. Yeah, we should definitely do some research on that.
We had to come up with a design that was not quite the Solo Trek, but with their permission would allow us to alter the design somewhat.
The Solo Trek is here.
What was interesting was we were able to work a lot of streamlined, sort of retro, hip aspects of the lines and the design that Harald was very excited about into this sort of more functional design of the Solo Trek. And luckily we got their permission to sort of morph the two and clearance from the Solo Trek people to sort of, to actually incorporate that look into the film.
Welcome to the CIA.
One of my favorite production designers is Ken Adam. We looked at a lot of his films, and one of the things in particular that Harald was very interested in was the War Room from Dr. Strangelove. And here was the first chance that I had with a director who was really sort of urging me to go this far, was to take a notion of high style and angular lines and textures and sort of a minimalist, stylized way of presenting the notion of a war room in a grand scale.
This is a nanobot stasis ice cube. So apparently there's about 400,000 nanobots frozen inside here. It's made from acrylic and put all kinds of different compounds in there to try and come up with something that would look kind of 3D on camera. This is a transport device, transport the little nanobots. When the blue light's reading, they're frozen in stasis. So when we turn this button, it should die and come up as red, which is now they're going to warm up. So now this was deemed safe to pull them out and let them do their thing. These are various versions of the iPod that Cody uses throughout the show. This one is a winch version, which he sticks inside a vent magnetically and then lowers himself down into the lab using that. And this one is the extended version of the camera version, which extends like so, allowing him to view the occupants of the lab. Cody has some very fashionable shoes. They're not only functional and pretty, but they do another job. They are suction cup shoes, and it allows him to walk on ceilings and walls and escape from the bad guy. So just like so.
The trick was how to break up the space so it wasn't so square and boxy and like a factory.
He's probably going to dress something or actually put frosted glass over it just to make it glow.
Right.
There was an architect that I brought to the table as an influence for Harald to look at, Calatrava, who's Spanish and does these amazing cantilevered engineered bridges and terrific sweeps and curves and angles. And we thought that if we could work that into the interior of the space, it would break it up, plus give it a certain amount of style.
Good job, Rusty.
So I came up with a certain arch, a sweep, which was me trying to sort of give it sort of an asymmetrical, off-center balance. It was also very exciting for me because I've always wanted to sort of blow something up, you know. I've always wanted to have a set that you could set on fire or actually see explode. And Harald took one look at it and he said, "Oh, those can be the cooling towers, and then we can blow them all up at the end of it." It was a lot of fun.
When you first walked into it, and it was so immaculate and clean, and then we just destroyed it, and everything's glass and dirt and mud everywhere. It was kind of sad, you know, because you knew what it was, and then what it became, and then you knew, like, we're never going to be on this set again. So once we leave tonight, that's it.
Den här ska vi laga. Där plockar vi det upp.
Perfect.
But we'll just practice. And carving back and forth across the sidewalk helps control your speed too.
All right. I used to skate a lot, but then I hurt myself about 2.5 years ago, so I stopped completely. But this is the first time I've been on a board pretty much since then. For some reason, it's still a little weird and new. I guess, you know, you have to practice to make everything perfect. Cody, you know, you think he's a normal kid just skateboarding, but he just saved this baby, you know, this car going out of control and it almost ran into a car. He risked his life. Then you see that I'm not just normal, you know, that I have these talents, you know, and these skills.
Oh my God, I'm going into the intersection, including him closing his eyes before you go off to find a car.
Frankie did a lot of the stuff that was slightly lower speeds. I mean, it really required danger and maneuvering. It was quite impressive. There's not a moment in that where you're not biting your nails looking. It's good because at first I'd never seen it. A car going backwards with a kid. It's cute. There's humor, and it's so real. And the jeopardy is great.
Do a little bit more spinning, but I want to be like this.
One down, grabbing the brake out, one up.
Yes. Yes.
And action.
How they actually drove the car. The guy would lay down, face, you know, on his stomach in the trunk, and he had the gas and brake pedals by his feet. They would close off the street when we were filming, but then when the car would have to go back up, the guy would drive it back up the hill. And people would always be looking, because I would be in the passenger seat when we were on the way up. And everyone would be like, what? How's that car driving?
Starter.
Yeah?
Kill switch. Speedometer. Emergency brake.
Wow.
And little viewfinder there.
Cup holder?
No cup holder. I do have a fan though.
Oh, good.
But it doesn't work.
My name is Harry Leonard, second unit director. Second unit basically is supplemental to the first unit. Whether you're shooting action or inserts or green screens or whatever, it's a way to get a leg up on the schedule. I'm trying to accomplish and put on film through the eyes of the director what he sees creatively. So I'm an extension of that. And hopefully we hit the nail on the head. The whole secret of second units is to be an extension of that first unit.
Towards the end of the skateboard sequence, when Cody slides down the hill towards that train, I wanted the car to come as close to the train as possible. And I just came up with a solution that you could do a simple split screen. And a split screen, you just leave the camera locked off, you can't move it, and then we drove the car through first. I mean, we had lots of takes where the car didn't end up in a good position. And then we had one good take where the car did end up in a good position. And once we had that in the can, we had the train drive through also as close to the camera as we could have it. And then we just put those two images together. Now the important thing when you do a split screen like this is that you don't have to spend too much time between the two different plates because the sun is moving. And what you really need in order to make this match is you need the light to be the same in both of them. Then you can just glue them together and they all look like they were shot at the same time. Also, the other advantage about doing this is that, you know, the car is one element, the train is one element, and I just could time it so that they almost met completely at the same time. This would have been virtually impossible to do live. The skateboard sequence was a little different when we started out. Vosloo came up with this idea of him going through that pipe. And of course we wanted a stunt guy to do that, and apparently there's only 3 people in the world who can do that. So Tony came up with this idea of actually building the whole thing on a rail, because a rail is actually quite easy to remove in post-production. And they had to build this almost 30-foot high roller coaster ramp-like kind of thingy that was just an unbelievable construction. And then the stunt guy had enough speed to go all the way in and then go through the tunnel in one spin.
We have a combination of snow and skateboarding and martial arts scenes. We've got incredible pyrotechnics, snowmobiles driving through explosions, skateboarding after a runaway car, practically smashing into it, a passing train. All kinds of things are going on. So it's been the biggest challenge is to orchestrate all of that.
Good, and go. Good, and go. Oh. Cut.
Oh, I broke my finger there. I could take martial arts when I was about 8. I didn't remember any of it. And then when I got here, I really only had maybe about 16 days of training, which isn't a lot, you know. And I went in and luckily I can do most of this stuff, you know, so they don't have to use a stunt double all the time. That's how it's gonna look good, you know, that's when it's gonna be the best, is when they can actually see and it looks real. Yeah.
For the driver's ed sequence, we built 3 different cars. What we dubbed them was the Hero car, which allowed us to have the hero actors in it. The second car was what we called the concrete car. We set it at a 45-degree angle, and our counterweight was concrete. It allowed us to see the underbelly of the car clean without any effects being seen. The third car was a hydraulic car, very complicated. Allowed us to put the actors in the car, had a hydraulic rig hidden inside the back of the trunk, all the mechanics of it, and in between the 2 seats was the ram.
It was so much fun. They actually put like hydraulics in the car to do this stunt, so it was completely like flipped onto one side, and we're like sitting upside down in the car, so it was a little crazy. So I think I'm gonna wait on my driving lessons for a while.
Faster! Faster, Frankie?
We have so much fun together. There's non-stop joking. You know, they're always making us like, you know, come on guys, come on, because we're always laughing and stuff like that, so it's fun.
This thing where they're driving on the snowmobile through the lab, those were only 2 single takes. And we had to rehearse the emotions and the camera angle and the energy and all that stuff up front, so you know you have only one chance to get it done.
That's good. That was great how you raced towards the edge there. And you guys should all come in like this.
Well, we've got this cable pull here, and when the electric watch, when Fetcher steals the watch from Cody, he pushes the wrong silver button.
Just promise me you won't touch that silver button right there.
That silver button.
Yeah, just don't touch it. It's
button.
really
Don't touch it.
And gets blown backwards by the watch. So now we've got the stunt double on a mini tramp. We're going to cable pull him with this cable here. He'll fall on the ground. I have the real fenster underneath to jump up, pretend like he just fell. Movie magic.
A simple little trick when you want to have a stuntman and an actor almost in the same shot is the good old cowboy switch. When Fenster is falling on the table, I had the stuntman fall down out of the frame, and then suddenly the real actor, Fenster, came up in the foreground. So those are two different people doing the fall and the actor, and that's called the cowboy switch.
It's weird to think I'm Cody Banks in Cody Banks, you know? I think that's why I can do it, you know, it's because I force myself to try and, you know, try to do as much as I can, because kids are gonna look up to me, you know, when they see this and go, wow, I wanna be a CIA agent, I wanna fight bad guys and get to save the girl and cool stuff like that.
Sometimes they see you do something and they see that it's a strong point of yours or it's a weak point, and they'll change it or they'll adapt it to your sort of strength or weaknesses. Or they'll come with suggestions, and if you can pull them off, of course, then it works in the scene and it flows. They're really enthusiastic about it and want to make it fun and interesting and sort of incorporate the fight scene into the stories.
It was all me in the first one. Wow, it was great.
Quite the butt kicker. I'm now fearing for my safety at home, whereas before I was pretty confident walking in the door after practice. After this movie, I think I'll come in tiptoeing to the door if I'm late or something.
So we should make every one of these shots have the same kind of organic. Let's try that, to give this as if the cameraman has a little hard time following them up the stairs. There's two kinds of effects. You have the physical effects.
Physical effects, anything that involves real elements.
And then you have visual effects, which are all the stuff that you do in post-production. In the old days, you used to do all that with optical printers and everything, but nowadays you do everything inside a computer, and you have pretty much control of everything you need. So when you do, for instance, a green screen shot, like when we needed to have this mountain extended, I wanted to set up the fact that it was really high up. So of course the set wasn't high at all, but we painted the ground green, and then we put lots of black X's, or little marks on them, which then will be what they call tracking marks.
Tracking mark. a mark on the green screen that the computer can lock onto in order to follow the camera movement.
And then what they do is take the matte painting and they lock it into the picture. The walking on the ceiling was a long headache for us. Many different options. One of them was building a set upside down, but then of course his clothing and his whole physical behavior wouldn't be accurate. So Tony and the guys came up with this beam, this rig in the ceiling that we could mount, and then the stunt person, she would have, yeah, it's a she, it's not a he. She would have a wire going up from her back up to the ceiling that she was hanging on, and then later of course we could just remove the wire in post-production.
Wire removal. Wires in the film will be removed by painting away the wire by sampling the background right next to the wire.
When we did the stairs being eaten, we needed to have the real stairs first, and then we needed to have a clean plate, which is sort of a camera without the stairs in them, so that we could put the computerized stairs in. So all those stairs that are eaten are here computer generated. But the big explosion at the end, the best thing is really to do a real thing. So what we had to do was build a black box, as it's called. You make a complete replica of the model, and you just make sure you have all the elements, the platforms, the arches, everything is in there, but it's all painted black, so that when you have the fire come out, it sort of wraps around these things naturally, and then you can paste that on top of the background and it'll match perfectly.
Composite shot. A shot that consists of several different elements glued together in order to create a new image.
For the shot where the helicopter flies out of the lair, I had done a pretty accurate pre-visualization on that. I had rendered the helicopter and I'd taken one of the background plates and put my own helicopter in, and they needed to put the mountains out there. Now, of course, with all the wind and all the smoke and everything, we later discovered that the background was actually moving, which meant that those tracking marks were also moving, which meant that when they tried to lock in the background, it didn't really work. So these are things that you have to remember when you do your effects, is that you have to make sure that the plates and the elements are accurate. My name is Harald Zwart. I am the director of Agent Cody Banks. So when I start on a project like this, I'm so hungry for visuals. So I just sat down, picked out references, started rendering things in 3D, started combining elements, worked with colors, wardrobe, all that stuff to know the look of this film. And I had some vague ideas in my head, and it's when you put these things together, you see quickly whether it's the right thing or not.
Which one would you prefer, this one or this one? I kind of like this one myself. Good choice. Good.
A lot of the designs that you start off with are more just a starting point for everybody else to spin off of. Some of the designs are so right on that they just stay all the way through to the end of the movie, like Angie's wardrobe, that silver outfit that she was going to wear when she flew the Solar Trek. That was something that I had as a reference from a commercial, and that was so right on that we actually just looked at that picture and said, just make us that. Now, I've been drawing all my life. I was never really good enough, and that's why sitting down with a storyboard artist who can really render your ideas perfectly out on a pencil drawing is really satisfying. I can draw to some extent and help him like a shortcut. He can really quickly see what I mean, as opposed to having to explain everything with a lot of words. I make a quick sketch and then he gets it. And sometimes we draw on the same drawing. So thankfully the guy is very flexible.
Right, that kind of thing. Exactly.
As you get close to production, the production designer's department is up and running, the art department.
A bank of 5 monitors each side. Okay. And then you got the sliding rail in between, and it's very sort of sleek. Yeah.
And that is really my favorite department. I remember every day, I had like an office upstairs. It was not really interesting. But the art department, I walked always through the art department every day just to see all the stuff and the renderings and the logos and the drawings and the models and everything that they built. And they're just a bunch of creative people sitting around rendering and sort of developing the ideas that I had when I was back in my own office back in Santa Monica. Then Rusty and I, we hang up all these references on the wall. We see what does fit, what doesn't fit. We talk about old designs, something that doesn't feel right, then we implement a bit of that. Maybe a new idea has showed up in the script, so I need something in the art department for that one particular scene.
Oh, everybody's going to want one, and their own personal helicopter, too. Yeah. By the time we're done.
First day of shooting. It's the day when all your ideas, all your preparation, everything just is going to stand the first test. And I'm generally quite nervous on that day, naturally enough.
Good job. Cool. Okay, now that thing is off.
I'm going to see if the team is going to get up to speed quick enough, if the shots that I've had in my mind actually look as good as I was hoping they would. What element does work, what doesn't work. There's wires, there's acting, the actors' first days, dialogue, is that joke gonna work? There's just so many things at stake the first day that generally if you make your first day on schedule, you're lucky.
Sorry. You stole a $5 million car. Don't you think the CIA has LoJack on its stuff? Even that board has one.
Let's cut it. We're good. Do one more. Okay, we've got. Thank you. Let's go right away.
Talk about my allowance. I need a raise.
And being a director is not only pointing to where the camera should stand, it's also motivating the actors and giving reasons to do the things they do. And part of my job is to give the actors the right intentions behind their dialogue. And once you've laid all that out and you've sort of rehearsed it as a little play or a little theater piece, it's very easy to then go in and block it with a camera, as it's called.
Oh well. Well, you're being interrupted after your oh well. You go bye.
Bye.
So you don't have nowhere to go. You're just hanging. So.
Bye.
Wait, you're still not too old because you're not too old.
Rush in.
Bye.
Hey. You smell so good.
You can stop him there if you have a hand free.
Oh, when he's leaving.
Yeah, like you touch him there and you stop him.
Oh, you smell so good. Did you shave?
Yeah, that's a funny reaction.
Oh, you smell good. Did you shave?
Early on in the script, it didn't have the scene where the CI teaches Cody how to talk to women. That's an idea I had that I wanted to get into the film because I thought that was the whole core of the film, was that this kid doesn't know how to talk to women. And that is maybe the case for most of us.
I've assembled a team of experts here to sort of help you along from the point of contact to the point of closure.
An extra. Person who is in the background and has no lines.
Let's do that again. Back to Frankie, kind of quicker. And look around, Frankie. There is no true science to any of that. And I thought it was fun that the CIA, being the sort of the corporate problem-solving institution that they would instantly just think, well, why don't we just teach him then? If you can't talk to girls, let's teach him.
Somebody has got to teach this kid how to talk to a girl!
Now, working with somebody like Darrell Hammond, I just wanted him to do whatever he thought was funny and just let him go and just kick.
Viewfinder, an eyepiece on which a director can put a lens so that he can see the shot without having to rig the whole camera.
So I just kept the cameras rolling and let Darrell just raffle on with his own improvisation.
Good, that works. So this works as well as a reverse shot.
My father's married 100 years or so. He's got a ring in the back of his neck now. You pull it, he goes, my fault.
Techno crane. Big camera crane that can extend its length as well as moving up and down.
I really wanted to have the actors as close to the action as possible. I think sometimes the CG and the blue screen background or the green screen background can look a little fake. So I wanted to really have Hilary, Frankie, and Angie in the midst of the explosions. I wanted them to fight as much as they could.
Set it for those two places, then we have the option. Okay.
Pyrotechnics. Any special effect that involves flames or explosions.
Thank the kids. Applause for Frankie. Let's go. Here we go. Ready. Watch your noggins down below.
Finally, we get to the end of the film, and it's the famous movie kiss at the end of the film where the two get together in front of a beautiful sunset. Of course, their romantic little moment is interrupted again by the CIA because Cody is always on the job. So the hip top rings, and on one of the takes, I just wanted Frankie to throw the thing into the water. And of course, I had forgotten that this was probably the only device we had. So as soon as Frankie had thrown it into the water, the prop guy ran over to me and said, "Oh, no, don't throw that one." And I panicked, so I ran into the water with all my clothes on to get it. And of course, I didn't find it. And I was also stuck directing the rest of the scene in my underwear and a towel wrapped around me.
Cody, turn me around this instant.
Now, what was my mission?
I think you're about to kiss me.
So you're sitting there cutting your film and you're thinking, that fits, that doesn't fit. You have all kinds of length restraints because you don't want the movie to be too long. You always end up cutting stuff, and as you will see on the deleted scenes, there's a bunch of great scenes that I would have loved to have in the film, but they were just had to be simply sacrificed for the sake of the pace of the picture. And then we had the test screening, and everybody liked the pictures, except was this one thing that I thought was going to be the biggest laugh in the whole movie. And that's when Ian McShane lands with his hovercraft on the shore, and he walks up the steps, he kicks this duck. And we had a dummy duck, so if you look at the shot again here, then you can see that the duck is standing perfectly still. And everybody from parents to kids just said that was just too much of a And I think the solution we found about cutting to Ronica to keep the tension, I think works perfectly well. But that was the big conflict about the duck, and I even said sometimes, the duck stays in the picture. So finally the big day arrives, and the film is barely out of the lab. It's probably wet still when it goes through the projector. Everybody there, everybody looked their best, the press has showed up, and you're ready to show the picture. It's funny when you meet your crew members that you were working with for months and months so closely, and then you haven't seen them for almost a half a year, and then you meet again on the day. And most of them haven't seen all the bits and pieces that you as a director have been working on. So it's a glorious day, and you can enjoy every moment of it, at least until you have to go back and start working on the next movie.
Here's a choice. Yeah. You tell me yes or no.
Hi, I'm Ellen Mirajnik, and I was a consultant with Harald for Cody Banks. I just helped him verbalize and actualize what he actually wanted to do. There was very much of a James Bond 1960s cool, hip, boyhood dream vision that Harald had, and all the innuendo that was in those movies. In this movie, we couldn't push it to that extreme. It was just merely taking a theme. So that was inherent in the story.
My name is Suzanne McCabe, and I'm the costume designer on Cody Banks. Angie was so beautiful, it's easy, but Harald was wanting to do all that retro kind of clothes, which we loved. I did a bunch of sketches. She is a CIA person also, and she has to be in the environment with all of those people who are just in their black suits, skinny ties, and white shirts. You need many of each garment. For instance, Mole was wearing his little jogging suit outfit. After his whole fight scene and the whole lair was exploding, the next day you might want to go back and do where he'd need to be completely clean. So that's why you do need to have so many of each particular garment. Harald wanted to have this hologram girl come up out of the middle of the round table. So he asked to have a very sexy dream babe, and I just did a very body contoured jumpsuit in bubblegum pink. And then she did all her alluring poses and scared Cody out of his mind, basically. I had Angie in a very revealing costume for the scene in the dojo. And then it turned out that the person that was going to be the best karate double was a guy. I had to give him breasts and all that stuff. But it ended up looking great, I think, in the end. It was fine. That's what we do.
John Powell had done Chicken Run. I love the energy and the quasi-military fun march kind of thing that went on in that one. And I was thrilled when John wanted to do Agent Cody Banks, because I really wanted something that gave the grandeur, but it still needed to have that almost a little sarcastic, ironic humor to it all the time. You couldn't really take yourself too seriously. It's very slow, open. Yeah.
It's so weird seeing like that people actually work to put the music in, you know, and you think it just happens when you're filming. I mean, people worked just as hard as we did, you know, filming the movie to do the music, and it changes the movie completely. The movie without the music is like boring.
Music is really tricky because there's nothing, I can't make a drawing, or I can't really sing something that hasn't been written, and if I do, it just sounds horrible. So music is the most abstract part of the whole process. There's really nothing, except for a few terminologies that I know from my musical background, there's nothing really you can do to describe what you need. That's why you need a composer who starts off on a great point, and then you can sort of direct it a little bit more dramatic, less dramatic, more irony and stuff like that.
The horns can hold, just the trombones fall on the 4th beat of 21.
Music to me is maybe the most gratifying part. I love going into a scoring stage. Every time I'm here I think, oh, too bad we have to do a whole movie to get to this place. Because this is where everything comes together. The music, the pictures, and the emotions.
So you go through 5 days of scoring day and night, and you listen to so much music, and at one point you just go crazy, and you just have to participate in one way or another. So when John said we needed some kazoo players, we all jumped up and volunteered, because that was something we felt that we could do.
Kazoo, an instrument that isn't really an instrument. A vibrating membrane creates the buzzing sound when you hum into it.
Okay, and again.
So how was that though?
It was okay.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Hilary, and I play Natalie in Agent Cody Banks. Natalie's character in the movie was really into like makeup and hair, so if you want some cool tips, here we go. In the movie, I wore Armani, that was Luminous Foundation, number 4. Lots of blush and stuff like that. Lots of sheer makeup too, because that's what looks better on camera. Contouring makeup, which is like on your cheeks and your nose and stuff, is number 0, and it's like sheer fluid. It's really cool. All their makeup is really light and pretty. And on the eyes, number 27, it's kind of like a lavender color. Then we use this really cool mascara called Kiss Me, and it's really creepy when you first get it. It makes little tubes around your eyelashes, so when you wash your face, you think your eyelashes are falling out, but they're really not. Also, to make your lips look bigger, you can use a little bit of lip liner. Let's see, we used a Chanel nude lip liner with Armani Sheer Lipstick number 2. In the movie, we use lots of little tricks, like there's all sorts of colors that can make your eyes look different colors. Like I have green eyes, so we would use purple to bring out the green. Also, contouring is very important. If you want to make your face look very defined, you put like it on the sides or like on your nose or something like that. It makes your face look like it has lots of definition. In Agent Cody Banks, we didn't wear too much makeup, except for the party scene, we got to jazz it up a little bit. So for day to day, it's usually good to stick with just a little bit of makeup, because a little bit goes a long way. So there's some good tips, and I hope you guys have fun. Bye.
Somebody has got to teach this kid how to talk to a girl!
Cody, I understand you're having a problem with women, son, so I've assembled a team of experts here to sort of help you along.
I would say employ lots of dry humor and remain aloof.
I think the key word is back up.
My advice to Cody how to talk to women is just show up in this contraption and you're bound to score. I assure you.
You know, a lot of people will tell you, just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Just be yourself and relax, and try not to say anything too stupid.
I love horses.
What a freak.
Well, it's obvious Cody's getting nowhere being himself.
Are those books?
You have the right Latin moves. That's gonna pick up any chick. I'll just give you a little taste. My name is Cody Banks, that is. I work for the CIA.
Truthfully, I think I'm worse than Cody is. I just be myself and don't worry about it. I think girls like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see.
Mr. Banks.
Yes?
Who am I?
After he lost his wife 2 years ago, he went completely out of contact with the human race. The foremost authority on nanotechnology. Microscopic robots.
I know. You're not supposed to know that. Hang on, I shoved this thing in my mouth. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna kill you when you get back here, you understand me? I'm gonna stab you in the eye. You're not supposed to know that. Did that look like a seizure instead of a take? I hate this kid, I really do. That was awful! Oh.
That was me dying.
No place for a gun in there, right?
Oh, I have places.
Where
Sure
is
you
my...
do.
Sorry.
Excuse me? You
Sorry.
Let's pick it up from news of today.
This isn't exactly what I signed up for when I... This isn't exactly what I had in mind when I signed it. This isn't exactly what I had in mind when I signed on with the CIA. This
Wait,
isn't...
what is it?
This...
Take it up from there. Action.
This isn't exactly what I had in mind when I...
Come on, guys.
Wayne. This isn't exactly what I had in mind when I signed on to the CIA. You know, maybe you should try a decaf.
What is that? I told you to get something from the... Conversation breaker? Yeah.
Ronica.
What is it with
Ronica,
you?
no, ow!
Big
Ow,
bird.
ow, ow! My neck, ow! Just kidding.
What's wrong with you? What are you, the albatross of the CIA?
I'm
my
sorry, I
God.
just thought it was
Keep typing.
awesome.
What's wrong with you?
It's awesome.
Oh!
I'll take it back.
Peter Piper picked a pick.
Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece as white as snow.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Hi.
Honey.
So when you make a movie, you're always under a time schedule, money restraints, everything. Although I think I had enough to do everything I wanted, there's always like a few things that slip through the cracks because you're in a time rush and you know, you have the priority, should I do this take again or should I let that thing slide? Maybe nobody will notice. And of course you end up with quite a few things in your movie that you notice afterwards were maybe a bigger mistake than you had hoped for. So I'm going to share a few of these with you now. So a typical thing when an actor is supposed to interact with something that's not there when you shoot the scene, but you're going to put it in later, is their eye line. Now, if you look at the younger brother here, he is looking down here, whereas he should have been looking up here at the hologram. Now, Frankie is looking above the camera because we're going into this flashback when he remembers when he put the necklace on Hilary, so that's okay. But let's look at the scene again and see that the younger brother's eye line is completely wrong. He's not looking at the hologram at all. And I wish I could have done that one more time. In this scene, you can see Frankie's standing on the board in this wide shot by second unit. And when we cut to first unit, of course, the communication hasn't been right, so he's holding the board in his hand. Again, one of those things that you wish you could have done it again, but you can't fly up and do it again. This one is probably one of the more noticeable ones, where Angie's taking off her belt. It's a little bit of dialogue. We cut to the board up there, and then you'll see that she takes off her belt one more time. And that's just unfortunate timing. Maybe one out of, I don't know, hundreds of people notice, but now you're going to see it every time you see the film. So I'm sorry I ruined it for you. In my film so far, I've snuck in the logo of my local football team back in Norway called Fredrikstad Football Club. And their logo is then with FFK. And if you look really carefully, you can see in the hat of this lab test guy that he's wearing that hat with that logo on. You can also find this logo in Cody's room over his alarm clock. The scarf is hanging on the door. And those are the little things that have earned me 9 seats on the stadium of my local football team back in Norway.
Sweetie, Mommy will be right back.
Next time, please stick with a tricycle. Of course, if I had a little help.
I can't believe what we're talking about. All right. The agency will take care of your chores and your homework. You focus on the girl.
We're doing his homework now.
What?
He needs a report on Henry V.
Sorry.
I'm gonna need some research. A critical reassessment of Henry V by Cody Banks.
In my 35 years at Donovan, teaching English literature, never have I read a paper of such insight, such depth. I dare say it made me weep. Cody Banks. Tell me, Mr. Banks, what inspired you?
I don't know. It was a good play, I guess.
Natalie Connors. Way out of your league.
You! I will personally go to DMV. You will not receive a driver's license! Never!
Mr. Yip.
What?
We'd like to have a word with you about Mr. Banks' driver's license.
Immigration people!
Ronica, are you following me?
Get used to it.
73 Dino. Sweet.
Yeah. And after today's performance, you won't be getting in a car for a very long time.
Come on, give me a break.
You almost blew your cover with that car stunt you pulled today.
I mean, I spent years trying to hide my secret, and now I can actually use my skills, and I get yelled at.
I am not yelling.
Hey, take it easy.
Hey, I have a gun.
Seems like someone has some anger management problems.
I do not. Who told you that?
This is all becoming clearer. What? Come on. An attractive 30-something.
Late 20-something.
Super smart agent gets stuck watching some kid? Seems like a punishment. And, by the way, you're getting a ticket.
I'm watching you.
Busted.
Ma'am, please move away from the car. That is a government-registered automobile. And as a public service, I will shoot you. Thank you. Anger management, my ass.
Dad. Hey, Dad. Oh! I found a recipe on the back of the cereal box, but we ran out of milk, so I used some orange juice.
That's very scientific.
I guess it runs in the family.
Honey, I'll tell you what. Why don't you put that in the fridge and I'll eat it later. I got a lot of work to do.
You don't like it?
No. It looks delicious. Honey, I've been looking all over for these. Thank you very much.
Dad, why are you working for those guys?
Because they're the only ones who will fund my research.
Well, I'm not sure it's worth it.
Worth it, honey? Nanotechnology has the potential.
I know. Nanotechnology has the potential to save the planet.
Yeah.
Dad, get some sleep. Then you can save the planet. And, you're not gonna be down here for my birthday party, right?
Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Good evening, Doctor. Does anybody knock around here?
How's our project coming? Have you programmed the nanobots?
Yeah, I'm struggling with it. You see, at higher temperatures, they become erratic, and then they glom onto each other.
You promised us we could direct them by remote control.
Oh, I can, and I will. Listen, it's my daughter's birthday Sunday, and I was hoping that maybe we could all get together at the end of next week.
Mr. Brinkman arrives on Sunday. We want the demonstration then.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, where have you been?
Just out saving the world.
Oh, that's nice. I'm glad somebody's doing that. Hey, you okay?
Dad, before Mom, did you have a lot of girlfriends?
Me? Girlfriend? Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, not really. No, I'm exaggerating.
I know, we all do.
Yeah. I couldn't even speak to a girl.
So how'd you get Mom to go out with you?
That was, thanks. Yeah, your mom, that was luck. You know, she used to ride around town in this cute little bike, and I'd always see her when I was driving in my car. I hit your mother with my car.
You ran over Mom?
Well, yeah, I mean, mostly her bike, but, you know, I ran over to see if she was okay, and once I had that beautiful head in my hands, I told her I wanted to take care of her.
Great. So you're saying in order for me to get a date with a girl, I have to run her over in a car?
No, Cody, I'm saying you can't force these things. You know, when you stop thinking about love, that's when it's gonna fall into your lap. Okay?
Cody, remember the mission. Thank you.
Let's go, Doctor.
I'm so sorry, but this is a private function.
Oh, no. I was invited.
Well, dude, you're scaring all my friends with your outfit.
I was told the theme is Las Vegas.
Oh, and don't forget your party favor.
No, Natalie, it's not necessary. He's with me.
Dad, it is necessary.
Natalie, look, I'm sorry. I'll join you when they bring out the cake, okay? I promise.
We'll meet again, Miss Connors.
I'm not so sure about that. Hey, Cody.
Hey, Natalie.
So, guess where I just was?
I give up.
Gymnastics. I took your advice about having more fun.
Well, good for you. I should get going.
Hey, Cody, thanks for my necklace. I love it.
You must get tons of them.
Not like this. I mean, I get stuff from guys, but usually they want something in return. But you're different.
Yeah? Well, sorry for messing up your party.
No, you didn't mess my party up. My dad did.
How?
Well, you know, he left halfway through with those psychos that he works for.
Where'd he go?
I don't know. I'll see you in class.
Ronica, Cody, Dr. Connors is gone. Call me back.
Cody Banks is a normal teenager.
Oh, you smell good. Did you shave?
With one big exception.
I'm a junior secret agent working for the CIA.
Whatever.
When the nation faces a new kind of threat, it's time to send in the world's best kept secret.
Cody Banks? You want him? I don't want to be in trouble.
This is a CIA get out of trouble watch. This item is really the bomb.
Give it back. Ooh. Promise me you won't touch that silver button right there.
This mission depends on you.
That's my mission? I have to get close to her? Do you... I was...
What a freak.
We've spent $10 million training this kid, and no one taught him how to talk to a girl?
This spring, get ready for the next generation
going in
of secret agent.
So you're okay? Are you sure? Well, in that case, young man, you are so grounded.
MGM Pictures presents Frankie Muniz.
You did get him his license?
Nope. Hilary Duff.
You're different.
Name's Banks. Cody Banks.
Agent Cody Banks.
I have to go.
Can't leave, you're grounded.